as your designated pole internet bestie, I will not let you suffer like that, okay? Not on my watch will you be on one of those fail compilation videos, okay? Hello Jewels and Gems, welcome to my channel where we explore all things burlesque, pole, and dance. My name is Emma, and today we're going to be talking about what pole you should buy for your apartment. So before we start, I want to break down the basics of the pole. So we're going to talk about the types of pole, the pole finishes, and then I'm going to recommend some brands at different price ranges. So first things first, poles have the ability to either be static or spin. So when looking for a pole, you have to determine if you want a static pole, a spin pole, or a pole that can do both. I personally recommend a pole that can change between static and spin mode, simply for the fact that there are moves that you can only do on static and there are moves that are better suited for spin pole. Now, in the beginning, I do recommend that beginners start on static pole just so that they have the ability to build their technique and their grip strength. As you progress through pole, you'll want to start exploring more spin options, or you'll just want to spin in general because it's fun. And I personally love spin pole. The other thing that I want you guys to consider is the finish of the pole that you want. Now, the most common pole finish is going to be chrome. If you ever go to a pole studio or you plan on competing in the near future, the poles at that competition or the poles at that studio will be chrome. However, those are not the only pole finishes. You can have a stainless steel pole. If you are allergic to chrome, this is a perfect option for you. I will let you know though that with stainless steel poles, you have less grip, so the pole will feel more slippery as you progress. Some people may like this, some people may not. I personally have a stainless steel pole and I don't mind it, to be honest. The other pole that you'll want to consider, the next popular pole, is going to be a silicone pole. Now, people buy silicone poles for multiple reasons. One, if you don't want to worry about having to pole with minimal clothing on, then you'll want to consider a silicone pole because you can stick to the pole with clothes on. Another reason that people typically pick silicone poles is because they're worried about their grip strength. So if you're worried about not being able to grip the pole well, or if you find that you have really sweaty hands and you just want to focus on your technique and you want to be able to pole without worrying about sliding down the metal, a silicone pole would be perfect for you. So once you have decided whether or not you want a spin or a static pole or both, and once you've determined your material finish, the next thing you want to consider is the size of the pole. The most common pole size is a 45 millimeter pole. That is the size that I have, that is the size that most studios have. You can get a 40, which is a smaller pole, and some people like it, some people prefer it. If you have smaller hands, I know that's typically more popular between those people. The other pole is a 50. 50s are more common in clubs. So if you have a goal of, performing in a club or becoming a spicy accountant, then I would consider a 50, but also think about the clubs in your area and what size poles that they have, because you'd want to get one that matches. So if you're practicing at home, it's not going to feel different when you're on stage. So now that we've covered that, I'm going to go over 3 pole brands that I personally recommend. Now, I know you guys have seen those videos, those infamous TikTok, YouTube, Instagram videos of people falling down their poles, of their poles falling. I saw a video where someone's poles literally separated into 3 pieces. Those videos terrify me. They horrify me. And as your designated pole internet bestie, I will not let you suffer like that, okay? Not on my watch will you be on one of those fail compilation videos, okay? So that being said, I only recommend 3 brands, and the 3 brands I recommend are X-Pole, which is very common and very popular in the US. You'll find that most studios have those, competitions use X-Pole, and honestly, most people have X-Poles in their home. The other pole that I will recommend is a Loop-It pole. Loop-Its are more prominent in Europe and they're more popular in Europe. They're also the most expensive pole brand that you will find that is reliable. The reason why people get Loop-Its are honestly comparable to the reasons why people get X pole, and at a certain point you do develop a preference to either pole. I personally, when I first started pole, I preferred loop it poles over X poles, which is why I personally have a loop it pole. Now, the difference is very slight, and honestly it might be a placebo, so take that with a grain of salt when you're considering what pole brand you want to buy. The other pole that I would recommend, and the most budget-friendly pole, is going to be the Fit to Flaunt pole. I like the Fit to Flaunt brand personally because it is owned and operated by Black women, and I think that's amazing. That is something that I personally can get behind and support. Also, when you buy their poles, they have an app that allows you to learn from them. So they have instructors and they have videos, how-to videos, and if you are solely going to learn how to pole at home, I would recommend the Fit to Flaunt app, and I would recommend the Fit to Flaunt pole just because it's beginner friendly, it's budget friendly, and it is a good way to build that confidence before you're ready to maybe step into a pole studio or before you're ready to go audition at a club. So, pricing. X poles usually range from $120 to about $390. The poles that are on the cheaper end of X poles are specifically static poles. So if you want just a static pole, that'll cost you about $120 with X pole, depending on the specs that you get. Loop It, like I said, the most expensive pole brand, is going to range from $370 to $400. Now, I already said what the price of the Fit to Flaunt is. It ranges from about $230 to about $250. Fit to Flaunt only has chrome poles and silicone poles. If you would like a stainless steel pole, then you'd have to refer to an X pole or a Loop It pole, and that's going to be your preference. So, now that we know all of those things, I do want to end this video with a few caution, or just, I want to end the video with some advice that I personally wish someone had given me when I decided that I was going to start poling at home. So the first piece of advice is understand the spacing in your apartment. Typically when poling, most pole brands recommend that you should be able to hold onto your pole and stick your outside arm out without hitting any walls or any furniture. And that's really important because as you pole and as you advance, you're going to be sticking legs out here, arms out there, you're going to be hair whipping, and you don't want to hair whip into a wall. Another thing that I would recommend is finding resources. So after you get your pole and you're really excited and you're gung-ho, you want to start, I would recommend either using the Fit to Flaunt app. I am not sponsored by them, I just want to say, just in case you guys are wondering. But I would recommend using their app. It's an easy way to find resources. Look for pole instructors online. I have some how-to videos on my TikToks. I've also uploaded some how-to videos on my YouTube shorts. You can find those. You can YouTube anything, but just to understand the technique and the basics around the moves that you're going to be doing throughout your pole journey. It's really important to make sure that you start off strong and you start off with the right technique so you don't hurt yourself. The other thing that I want to recommend is pole grip. So I wish someone had told me this. I didn't know about really using grip until after a month of starting pole, but grip is helpful for if you have really sweaty hands, really sweaty skin. It will dry up your hands so that you can stick to the pole better. Or if you're like me and you have really dry skin naturally, you need some suppleness to stick to the pole. So I would also recommend that you get something like Dew Point or Pole Poise or Monkey Grip and use that to help you stick to the pole. Typically people use that on their skin, like your legs and your forearms, things of that nature. And it'll just make your pole journey a lot easier. So with that being said, if you guys have any questions or concerns, please leave a comment down below and I'll make sure to answer it or make a video about it. Other than that, I hope you guys have a sparkly day and I can't wait to see you all again. Thank you and subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys so much.